Kia ora unicorns, welcome back to another video. I know it's been ages, so I thought I'd do a mukbang. I'm really sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. I have no idea. So comment down below if you know how to say it and tell me how, so that I don't make that mistake in future. Anyway, I have never done one before. I thought it'd be really fun to do one, and I also thought it's been so long since I've uploaded a video. It's time to give you guys a life update and let you know why I've been feeling a little bit guilty about it, because there's a few of you who comment on all of my videos, and that wee handful of people who do that, I feel like you guys have become like my little internet friends, and I just feel like I miss you. I want to put some stuff out and engage with you, connect with you and say, hey, how's it going, you know? So yeah, let's just get on with the mukbang. I'm probably not going to edit this, so you're going to hear all my ums and ahs and all that kind of crap. I'm struggling with software at the moment. It's actually the reason I've been not uploading for a while, is that I had a Windows update about 3 months ago, and it literally wiped everything off my computer, including my editing software. I was able, with the help of a friend, Rachel, I love you, thank you so much, to get a lot of the stuff back. Unfortunately, the software that I was using is like a really basic beginner's software, and it's no longer available, which means I have to now learn a new software, and I put my hands up and I say I'm terrible. So bad with technology, so bad with technology. So it's been quite a process. I've downloaded a few of the free ones. Basically, I don't want to pay for anything right now if I'm not going to use it. I downloaded Adobe recently and did the free trial, and it just intimidated the crap out of me. So I ended up not using that. I then downloaded something called Shortcut, I don't know what it was called. I couldn't figure out how to use that one for the life of me either. And I've downloaded another one now, I think it's called Power Director. So I'm just using like the free trials of all of these at the moment, trying to figure out which one I'll use. I'm actually thinking I might just take a course in Adobe, because Adobe is the one that a lot of really good YouTubers use, and I thought, actually, why not learn the skill? But as I say, I'm intimidated. So yeah, this one is probably not going to be very edited, because I'm still learning another software. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, I have here a vegan pizza. The base is sweet potato, and it has a little bit of chickpea flour and a little bit of normal flour. So, and yes, there is a recipe video coming out for this, and I normally don't put chickpea flour in it. I'm just being all experimental this morning, so the recipe video will be coming as soon as I can figure out this new software. And what have I got on it? You probably want to know. Vegan pizza. I don't put cheese on my pizza very often, because I try to keep it a little bit cleaner. Not that vegan cheese is that bad in moderation, everything's fine in moderation, but I try to keep my cheat meal for the weekend, and it's, what's today? Wednesday. It's Wednesday. So I have got tomato paste mixed with a little bit of this special sauce that I make and put on everything. I'm going to do a sweet and spicy tofu recipe coming up. It's the sauce from that, so if you're wondering what it is, that recipe for the sauce that I have in here mixed in, it's coming. So that's mixed with tomato paste as the base. I then have tomatoes, sun-dried tomatoes, artichokes, pineapple, because it goes on the pizza, onion, corn, cashew nuts, and avocado. Oh, and mushroom, and olives. I think that's it. You're probably looking at the avocado and like, Lizzie, what's going on? Are you okay? Try it. It's amazing. Avocado and pizza is amazing. Cooked avocado is bomb. I love it. Oh my gosh. Anyway, that's a whole new video, right? Me just ranting about cooked avocado. You probably don't want to hear about it right now. So, shall we start with the life update? How do people do these? One bite and I'm already very conscious about talking with my mouth full. My grandmother would be rolling in her grave right now. My goodness. So, Last time you saw me, I was still living in London, United Kingdom, living it up, loving it. And unfortunately, I was only on a 2-year visa. I am entitled to the 5-year one as well, the ancestry one. But at this stage, I just applied for the 2-year, and it expired. So I jumped on a plane to Singapore, and in Singapore I saw the family I used to work for. You probably remember their kitchen from my very first videos of cooking. They had that beautiful white kitchen. That was their kitchen in London. They then moved to Singapore. So I stopped and I visited them. It was so awesome to see the kids. I hadn't seen them in about 6 months since they moved to Singapore, and I just really missed them. They were a unicorn family, is the term we use in nannying for a family that everything just runs smoothly with. You just get along really well. The kids are awesome, the parents are awesome. Not that most families are awesome. I haven't had very many bad experiences at all as a nanny. I've actually been really, really lucky. But when you're working in a family, it can be a struggle at times. So these guys, they were a unicorn family, so I was really, really excited to see them. So I stopped there for a few days. Singapore is beautiful, by the way. If you ever have the opportunity to go, do go. There's this garden on the bay. I can't remember exactly what it was called. It might be just called that, Garden on the Bay. Gorgeous. Oh my goodness, beautiful. I love Singapore, how it's this concrete jungle. It's this very modern place, but there's so much greenery there. It's so nice, so much greenery. All the buildings are covered in plants. I love how they've included both a city life and this beautiful jungle feel to it. It's gorgeous. So that was that, and I told my friends in New Zealand that I was going to be in Singapore for 2 weeks. It was a lie. I wasn't in Singapore for 2 weeks. I was in Singapore for 3 or 4 days, because one of my best friends, Katie, it's her birthday on the 17th of June. So I left London on the 12th. My visa expired on the 12th, and then I stopped in Singapore, and then I left Singapore on the 15th or the 16th, I can't remember, but got back in time for a birthday dinner, which I had organised with some of my friends back home. See, eating with my mouth full. I'm sorry, Grandma. So we organised it. She didn't know that I was going to be there. She thought I was in Singapore another 2 weeks, and I organised with some friends back home for a birthday dinner. As far as she knew, she was just going out for dinner with the friends who lived in Christchurch. So I get there, she's sitting around the table, she looks at me and she just kind of looks blankly at me. I guess because she hasn't seen me in 18 months, 2 years kind of thing. And last time she saw me, I had brightly coloured hair. I mean, you guys know me, I normally have brightly coloured hair, but at the moment I'm kind of natural on the hair, so I guess she didn't recognise me for a few seconds, and she wasn't expecting to see me. And then her face just went, "What?" And she just starts screaming. She's so excited, and yeah, it was honestly probably one of the coolest things I've been involved with in a long time. Just, surprising someone in such a happy way. It was really cool. So I'm really terrible at this. How do YouTubers normally do that? If you do mukbangs, please tell me. Do you just talk with your mouth full? Is that what you do? I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, I get to New Zealand. It's the 17th of June at this point. I have no plans. I don't know what I'm doing next. All I know is I'm really excited to see my family. I'm so beyond excited to see my dogs, see my friends. It's the first time in forever that my 3 best friends are all in Christchurch at the same time as me. My friend Zara, she's been living in Australia and Canada for literally 6 years or something. She's been in Australia and then Canada for a year or something like that. So she's been out ages. My other best friend Kirsten was in London for a little bit, but we we were in London at different times. She went a year before me, and then she came back to New Zealand, and then she went back to London. So she was there for 6 months with me, and then I think I had another year after she left, or I don't know, I had another certain amount of time where I hadn't seen her in ages. So yeah, it was just so awesome that we were all there at the same time. There were lots of wines had. It was great. Caught up with some friends from high school that I hadn't even seen, like even when I was living at home. So that was so nice. It was just so cool to see my family and everyone. Oh my god, like if you know what it's like to live away from the people you love for a certain amount of time, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Like, oh, I just missed them. I just missed them. Waking up every morning to a doggy that was so excited to see me, and a cat that really hates me, but you know, still kind of like puts out with me. You know what cats are like. Anyway, so there's that. And then throw another spanner into the works. My life just gets even crazier. At this point I'm thinking I'm going to apply, I'd already applied for Massey University, which has a distance program for social work. I'm not sure how much I told you guys about this, but I am 2 years through my Bachelor of Social Work. It's a 4-year program. I dropped out 3 years ago. Basically, I had an eating disorder, I was depressed, I was anxious, I wasn't myself. So I dropped out, and I've finally in the last year got to a place where I don't suffer from most of the symptoms of an eating disorder. I'd say, yeah, no, I don't think it doesn't affect my daily life at all anymore, really. I still get kind of anxious about stuff. I don't think that's ever going to go away. I think that's just kind of who I am. I am an anxious person. I actually went to a psychic recently, and she's like, can you just stop worrying about everything? And I'm like, I can't, I need to worry. She said I need to stop thinking about stuff and like overthinking it. It's so true. So that's still there to an extent, but it's manageable. The depression I've really worked on, but I mean it still rears its ugly head at times, but it's definitely very manageable now. So I've got to the point where I'm ready to study again. I'm ready to tackle this degree, which kind of felt like it was hanging over me for the last couple of years. I've just always been like, oh, it's unfinished. And funnily enough, I don't even want to be a social worker anymore. But, you know, for the blood, sweat and tears I put into those first 2 years, I mean, the first year, I think I was a B+ average. And then when I hit my depression, you can actually I looked at my my transcript recently, and you can actually see the declining in my mental health. I go from like a B+ to a B, to a B-, to a C, to a C-. Like my last assignment was a C-, so I literally scraped through. You can literally see me going downhill. So yeah, so I'm finally at a place where I'm ready to do that. So I applied with this distance program because I thought, you know what, how cool would it be to come back to London? I mean, I didn't want to give up my London dream yet. I love London. Oh my gosh, I love London. Some of the coolest people I've ever met, I met in London. It's so close to Europe. It's just a cool place. It's just, especially as a vegan, my gosh, coming from New Zealand, which actually is great for veganism now, but it wasn't 2 years ago when I left, and it wasn't 5 years ago when I went vegan, and it was terrible. When did I go vegetarian? I was 12 when I went vegetarian. I'm now almost 27. My birthday's the 28th of September if you want to say happy birthday. So yeah, I was 12 when I went vegetarian, and it was shocking for vegetarians. It's great for vegetarians now. It's getting good for vegans now in New Zealand, but London, oh my gosh, amazing. So yeah, I mean, you guys have probably seen on my Instagram posts for amazing vegan food I've had all over Europe, and even Canada was so much closer to London than it was to New Zealand. So you know, I wasn't ready to give up that, so I thought I'll come back to New Zealand, I'll apply for my ancestry visa, which takes about a month. I'll come back to London, I'll do my distance program. I still have to come back for a few workshops a couple times a year, but that's cool. Like, I'll just have to manage my money really well, make sure I book flights in advance, and you know, who doesn't want to see your family? So, lost a cashew nut. So I thought, that's cool, I can do this, it's possible. So I got into Massey, they were awesome, but in the enrollment process and everything, like answering all my questions about how to do this by distance, can I do it from overseas, blah blah blah. And I get home to New Zealand, I'm ready to apply for my ancestry visa. I've got my savings ready. I've got 2 job offers in England. I actually got another one the other week too from an old employer. So, you know, I'm all set to go back to London at this point, but I didn't really know what my exact plans were, how long I wanted to be in New Zealand, whether or not I'll apply straight away, whatever. You know, I'm that kind of person. I'm just kind of like, I float with the wind. And then my ex-boyfriend, I went out with this guy since I was 15 to 23. We then broke up when I was depressed, basically. Not so much just because of the depression. I think I was at a point where I needed to be young and single and just go out and really embrace the world and figure out who I was. So we broke up when I was 23. He moves to Perth, Australia. I stayed in New Zealand a little bit and then I moved to London. He finds out that I am coming back to New Zealand and he shows up out of the blue. Like, he told me he was coming and I'm like, no, whatever, like this is dead and gone. Don't turn up in New Zealand. He comes to New Zealand and I'm just at this point like, oh, come on, like this relationship is dead and gone. We gave it a crack. We did 8 years, you know, and we were on and off for 8 years, you know, like we were so young, whatever. And then one night I go out and I have a few wines and I'm like, you know what? I really miss him. And so I see him. I'm not like blackout drunk, like making bad decisions because of the wine. I've just had enough that I'm like emotional and like I do actually miss him. So I see him and then from that moment it was all on again. Like it's just been like we just were like we were never apart kind of thing. It was the weirdest experience that we'd had these years apart. We'd gone down different tracks, we'd done so much with our lives, and then it was like he was never not there. It was the weirdest thing. So he's living in Australia. He literally left his life in Australia. He still has all his stuff here. He's still like, you know, he hasn't wrapped up anything. So we're in New Zealand about a month, kind of trying to figure out what the hell to do with this now that we're back together. Is he going to come to London with me? Are we going to stay in New Zealand? What are we going to do? So he says to me, let's go to Perth, which is where he was, Perth, Australia. I need to sell my stuff. We can work there because the money is a lot better in Australia. Their minimum wage is just higher, and I mean, I'm not minimum wage anyway, being a nanny, but everything's just, it's just a lot, there's a lot more money. So I said, yeah, let's do that. And then he's like, and the plan when we were leaving, we thought would end up going to either London or traveling around Asia or something. We just kind of thought, we're just kind of like throwing out ideas. So I moved to Perth. That's where I am now. And I'm trying to still do this study. Through Master University, a distance study. And I'm just struggling, like, I realised that perhaps I'm not the type of person who can do distance study. I guess I need to, I mean, it's the same with the editing software. I need to have someone showing me or to watch someone else. I mean, I've been looking up a million tutorials on YouTube for this, for all the editing softwares, and I just can't seem to, I don't know, it just doesn't click in my head. I think I'm the type of person who needs to be in a classroom environment for learning. I need to bounce ideas off other people. When I'm doing an assignment, I need to say, hey, what did you do for this question? And bounce all these ideas off people. So I realized pretty quickly, like less than a month in, that it just wasn't working for me. Plus we've got all this stuff happening in Perth. I'm trying to, you know, basically pack up my partner's life, and I can't bloody concentrate. So even if I was more of a distance learner, it just wasn't the time. So sorry, I've got a bit of flour in my throat. I don't know why I thought that would help. Hold up. Get out. Right. So I pulled out of the distance program, which is all good and fine. I'm not particularly bothered about it. And we make the plan that actually we're not going to go to London. We are going to move back to New Zealand at the end of this year, and I'm going to go back to the polytech that I was at, and I'm going to do it in the classroom. Also because we realised that what am I looking for? What's the word? What's the word, guys? Curriculum, maybe? I don't know. The way that Massey University does their social work program, or probably all their programs for cross-crediting, they did apply a lot of my credits, which was great, but it was still going to take me 4 years to do it, even though I'm halfway through. And the reason for that is they have like a certain timetable, and the things that I had completed I just wouldn't do when the other people on that timetable were doing it. So for example, if this semester I have 4 classes, one's human development, one is like, I don't know, interview skills and I don't know, engaging in Indigenous or something like that, and I've already done human development, then I just drop that and I'm still doing all the other ones. So some semesters, if I've completed everything that would be timetabled for that semester, I literally will have nothing to do. So it just felt like a huge waste of time to me for me to be having semesters where I'm doing nothing. I just kind of want to slam it out, get it done, so that oh my gosh, get out of my throat, get out of me. I just want to slam it out, get it done, move on with my life. I don't want to be a social worker anymore. I do still want to work with children. I probably will still possibly work in the social services field. I mean, I love working with people and children, so it probably will be a good degree for me to have, even if I'm not an actual social worker. I don't know. So I still want the degree, but I just want it done, because once I've got that degree, because what I do think I want to do is I do think I probably want to teach, which I've always wanted to do, and I don't know, I just got, oh my god, the cashew nuts will not stay on. You need cheese for cashew nuts, but whatever. So I want to teach, I've always wanted to teach, and I just kind of got convinced otherwise, I guess, by basically when the national government came into New Zealand. I think it was like 2012 they came in, and they're a conservative government, and there were some policies and things they were trying to put in place for primary school teachers, and basically this is when I was making my decision whether I was going to apply for a social work degree or a primary school teaching degree. And basically some people around me who were social workers basically said, look, that is the way that the government wants to change primary school teaching. They're going to try and put you in a box, Lizzie, and you just won't fit in that box. You are a colourful and flamboyant person, and that's not the type of person who can work in that environment. And so I listened to that, and I'm not saying that was a wrong decision, but I'm just coming to the point where I'm like, actually, maybe I should have. I don't know, no regrets, you know, everything you do in life is for a reason. I'm definitely one of those people who believes the universe has a plan for me, so it's fine. Plus it's kind of cool that I have 2 degrees. Well, it won't be 2 degrees, it will be Bachelor of Social Work and a postgraduate diploma. So I will have a certificate. I've got a certificate in early childhood. I will have a certificate, a diploma and a degree. Literally be the most qualified primary school teacher ever. But I mean, who can complain about having an education? First world problems. You cannot complain about being privileged enough to have had an education. That is definitely the last thing I can complain about. While I might want it to be over, while I might dislike the process and doing assignments and being stressed, being able to learn, having the opportunity to an education is just the best thing ever. This pizza is so good. Still got that tickle in my throat, but I don't want to go get a drink because I literally had like 4 grips of green tea just before and a coffee, and after this I have to go pretty much straight to work, and it's about an hour on the train. But I don't want to have any more liquids, otherwise I'm going to spend the whole time on the train being like, I need pee, I need pee, I need pee. So anyway, that's pretty much my life update. I guess some of you would like to know about, because I do upload things about my weight loss journey, where I am at with that. So I don't know the conversion right now. I'll have to figure it out, of pounds to kgs, because we use kgs in New Zealand and Australia. So when I weigh myself at the gym, it tells me kgs, but I'm currently 77. I believe I was like, I'm pretty sure I figured it out before I left the UK, that my current weight was like 78.6 or something like that in kgs. So I have lost a little bit of weight, but I'm not following any specific plan at the moment. I am still kind of like eating a lot of Slimming World style foods. Just basically eating the foods that I would be eating if I were on Slimming World, but I'm not really counting any sins. I'm still trying to do the How Not to Die, the Daily Dozen. I've got the Daily Dozen app, and whenever I remember, I try and check the boxes on that and include things like that he would recommend. But for the most part, I'm not really following anything, and I kind of like it. Like, I'm literally just saying to myself, have a cheat meal on a Saturday night. So like this week we actually had pizza, but not homemade. We had Domino's with a lot of vegan cheese on it. And then I had some Ben & Jerry's vegan ice cream. Oh, so good. So during the week, I'm just kind of like, eat healthy, eat as clean as possible, but I don't count anything that's like, for example, there's white flour in this. On Slimming World, I would have to count the white flour. But actually, this pizza recipe, for one whole pizza, I think I figured it out to be about 11 sins. So as long as there's no sins on the toppings, still within Slimming World. But of course, avocado, you have to sin. Olives, you have to sin. Cashew nuts, you have to sin. I'm not sure about the sun-dried tomatoes, because these ones are oil-free. But yeah, anyway, I'm just kind of like being sensible with my eating. Still vegan, still mostly high carb, but I do include more avocados, more nuts, more olives, things like that at the moment. And actually, I think it's probably better for me. My skin is clearer than it's ever been. You probably don't want to know this, TMI, but my periods are really regular, and I have polycystic ovarian syndrome, so for them to be regular is uncommon. But yeah, everything's just, I don't know, ticking along. But yeah, my weight's not coming down dramatically at all at the moment, which I'm kind of okay with, because what I want to make is long-term changes in my diet and my lifestyle. I want these to be sustainable. I mean, like I said before, I have struggled with an eating disorder in the past, and I'm never going down that road again. It was horrific. Like, to do that to your body, no thank you. And the way I'm living now, it just feels so good. Like, I can go to a restaurant with my boyfriend and not be like, I can't have any of this, you know? And Slimming World was pretty good, actually. I do think if you're someone who doesn't want to restrict too much but you do need to lose weight, the Slimming World approach is good. I would just say, from a healthy mindset perspective, have a day off every so often, just so that you're not completely restricting yourself. Like, it is pretty flexible, Slimming World. Like, you can make things at home and call it, like, the Fakeaways menu is really good. you can make things at home that are really good and taste pretty good, and like you wouldn't know that they're not like a junk food. But then I just think from a socializing perspective, I mean, food is so much more than just nourishment. It's social, it's everything that it's pleasure, you know, it's all those things, and you can't just deny those. So I would say have a day off every so often, like once a month, once a fortnight, just be like, I'm going to have one meal that's not, that I don't count anything. Because who wants to be counting things for the rest of your life, you know? Not me. I'm pleasantly surprised with how this pizza came out. I don't normally use chickpea flour, I normally use just flour, but I put half chickpea flour, half normal flour. It's come out pretty good. Our oven, on the other hand, oh my god, it's like 10 billion years old, and I can't, for the life of me, figure out how to not burn the edges of the pizza. Like, it still tastes fine, whatever, like, it's fine. But I turned it down. I gave it less time, like, and it still burnt the pizza. Fuck my life. I apologise if I've got flour all over my face. I can't really see in the viewfinder if I'm looking like a mess. Have I spilled it down my top? Surprisingly, no. Nice work. So I don't really know what else to update you guys. Oh. Where's the word? Update. I don't really know what else to update you guys on. My weight is fairly stable. It seems to be coming down a little bit slowly. My life is all over the place. I'm not really 100% sure what's happening right now, but we seem to have a plan. Degree is my priority. I'm very smitten right now with my man. I'm very happy. Oh, we're staying with his parents in Perth, in a really nice suburb that outlooks I think it's the Indian Ocean and the river, and it's really lovely. So life is really good right now. I have very little to complain about. Yeah. I don't know. What else can I tell you? So let me know in the comments below if you like mukbangs, if you want more in future. I'm thinking maybe next time I do one, I'll do a Q&A. I've never done a Q&A, so if you'd like a Q&A, please let me know what you'd like to know in the comments below. I don't really know what else to tell you. I'm really full. There's a hair on my nail. Oh no. Oh, why am I not updating you on my job front? Okay, so it's been near impossible to get a job in Australia for me. Not because I'm not employable, I'm very employable, but they have a different process in New Zealand we have a police clearance, in the UK they have the DBS, which is a police clearance as well, that you have to have in order to work with children. The process in New Zealand and the UK are like pretty easy, they're not so bad. But the process here is a right pain in the bum. It's very hard for immigrants or Kiwis. I mean, we have like deals with Australia where like Kiwis can come over easy peasy, whatever. And for the most part, I'm sure it is. But if you work with children, it is not. My goodness, you have to have, they will accept, you have to have 100 points to get this working with children's check. So, and certain categories make up a certain amount of points. For example, my passport is 70 points. My New Zealand driver's license is irrelevant. If I had an Australian driver's license, that would make up, I think, 30 points or something like that. So I would be able to get it straight away. But because I've got a New Zealand driver's license, I cannot. And then other forms of this evidence are like utility bills, bank statements, letters from universities, letters from employers, etc. But they all have to be Australian documents. So I have, at the moment, I have my New Zealand passport and a letter from a bank, an Australian bank, but all of the documents that are like letters, utility bills, those things only come to 25 points. So I'm literally 5 points from getting this stupid thing. And I rung up, no, I didn't ring up, I emailed and I said, I've got a DBS, I've got a New Zealand police clearance, can I use these? I also have a letter from Massey University which came to this address, but it's not an Australian document, so I cannot use it. It's so damn ridiculous, like, oh my gosh. And especially because it's basically evidence that I am safe to work with children, that I have no criminal convictions. I've not lived in Australia long enough to have them. If you want to know about my criminal convictions, you need to check the UK, where I lived for 2 years, and in New Zealand, where I lived for 24. Checking here, it just seems like a really stupid system to me as someone who's worked with children for so long. Like, I don't feel like, if a person is new to the country, I don't feel just checking their status in Australia is a way to keep them safe. I think that's a way for people to, I think that's a loophole for people who are unsafe to get in, you know. Like, if someone was, I don't know, from the UK and they come over here and they have a conviction against children in the UK, and then they come here and they only check Australia, I don't know. It seems silly to me, but whatever. So yeah. However, I have been able to secure 2 nanny jobs, just part-time, 2 really, really sweet families who are kind of like they understand they're working with children's check. You're supposed to have it to be a nanny, but they're like, oh, well, we can see I gave them my New Zealand one, I gave them my UK one, I showed them my first aid certificate, I showed them my qualification, my early childhood qualification, showed them my CV, and they're just like, why wouldn't we hire you? Like, obviously the system's a little flawed. And I'm like, yes, thank you. But I do want to start some centre work as well. But can't do that until this stupid check comes in, and I don't really know how to get any evidence because I have no utility bills, I have nothing, because we don't pay rent or anything here. I don't really know, but for the meantime, I'm working part-time. I'm loving it. I mean, I was a nanny in London. I love nannying. It's a great gig. I love working with kids, so, you know, it's all working out. What else is there to tell you? Nothing else, I don't really think. So anyway, comment below if you have any questions for a mukbang in the future. I'm going to do a Q&A. I probably won't do it this week or next week. I think I might do like a mukbang like once a month. Maybe fortnightly. I don't know. Just when I feel like it. You know? Just as a way to connect with you guys. Oh, I'm losing my toppings. I'm so full. Good effort though, right? I almost all of the pizza. I will, however, eat the rest of this avocado. It's so good. So fucking good. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. It's so good to be back, and I hope you have an amazing day wherever you are in the world, and keep being a unicorn. See you later.